You're watching the Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Look, I got the names wrong again. Yep. Darn it! I had it right. What was it, last week?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, we got Alfie, we got Jenna. It's time for a minute to skim it. We're actually trying to remember a movie right now. So there was 2 movies. There was one called Final Girl and another one called Final Girls.
There's one that's like the Final Girls.
Like they get sucked into an old 80s horror movie.
There's also one that's like a Final Girl support group. Which that could be a third Final Girl.
Yeah, that could be a third one. I wish we could remember Edward's in the house. What's up? But I'm trying to remember this other one where it was like, so her mom has passed away in real life, right?
Oh, no, okay. No, that one I have seen. Is it the girl from
It's got
American Horror Story?
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember her name. Oh,
she's got an interesting name. I can't remember what it is.
It's like Jay, do you remember the name? Maybe you guys remember the name.
Thaisa Farmiga.
Thank you. Yeah, and then her sister was in The Conjuring.
And that one is Final Girls.
Yeah, because it's her and her mom and her 2 friends or 3 friends. I can't remember who ended up being surviving it. And the other one was Final Girl. Yeah, and that one had.
Girl. And then there's Final Girl Support Group.
Is
Abigail Breslin, I think.
That's her name. Thank you. I don't know why I thought it was Chloe. Anyways, so us thinking about this was actually a book that Alfie read. Alfie, you want to start us off or tell us about the Final Girl?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm probably not the Final Girl. I'm too funny. I get killed instantly.
I'm pretty sure in like classic 80 horror movies, you and I would not be the ones to survive.
We would know how, but we're just too hilarious.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, there's the killer. Oh, he got me.
Yeah. And thank you, Edward. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I thought I would wear a different horror shirt each week now so that, you guys can just appreciate all of them. Okay, so to start us off, the first book is Betty, the Final Girl, and it's an Archie horror. It's fun. It actually has an about on the back that I'll go ahead and read because the comics never have abouts on the back.
That's true. By the way, it's Girl Scout cookie season, so I had to get my Girl Scout cookies on. So,
okay. So, room for one more. Veronica Lodge has invited Betty Cooper to her luxurious mountaintop chalet for a cozy weekend of skiing. God, reading the about, it's like, man, this sounds too rich. I would never be in this situation. But their girls' weekend is interrupted when Veronica invites her pesky younger cousin along. It's made even worse when she heads out to run an errand in a snowstorm. What could go wrong for Betty at a fancy remote cabin in the mountains, babysitting all by herself? Rude. Her mind races and she can't tell fact from fiction as she suddenly realizes she might not be so alone. Is Betty believing too much in the horror movie she watched? Or is someone or something really out to get her? And the horror movies that she's watching are little mini stories throughout the comic.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it definitely ends on a very... This is definitely a horror book by someone that's watched a lot of horror movies. It's just got one of those tropes.
It's fun. What is that one trope? It had oh my goodness. It was like, it wasn't called One Missed Call. It was like the calls coming from inside the house and she was a babysitter.
Loads of...
Okay, well this one specifically had the chick from The Secret Garden. And she's like all grown up and she's like a track star. And then like apparently this is back when you had to pay for text and phone calls.
Oh yeah. Is this the one where she's in a really fancy house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the middle part of it has like birds and water and stuff. The call's coming from inside the house and she has to like sprint.
It could just be called that.
The call's coming from inside
the house. Or something
When
like
a stranger calls. Thank you.
That's what it is.
Hey Nick, what is up? I'll play the part of the killer. I think we could survey that. I think me and Alfie versus, I think he said he was a high school teacher. I think we could survive that.
I've seen plenty of horror movies where the killer is a high school teacher. We've got it.
We got this.
I would just have to choose to give up.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I think that would be our thing. We're like, okay, we're going to hide in this one spot that we know nobody's going to look. And that's it. I'm not moving from that one spot.
I'm not hiding. I'm leaving the house.
Exactly.
I will be gone. Goodbye.
Oh, somebody's dead. Calling the police and I'm out. Bye. Calling the police for me driving away from the scene. Like, hi, there was a body like in this place. Bye now.
Oh, you want to invite me to your remote cabin with no Wi-Fi or signal? No.
Nah, bro.
Why?
No.
What am I gonna stare at? We're gonna talk? No.
No. The most talking we do is right here. Right here. And on Space Cadets.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Sins of Sinister, Nightcrawlers. Plural.
There's
Number
number
one.
9.
So, Edward, are you ready? Because this is the book.
Oh yeah, that does have a long
It
time.
has a long title, so let me. Sins of Sinister, Nightcrawlers, Year 10, Part 3, Voices of Fire. Bam! Long titles. That is how it is. There's also a B movie called When a Killer Calls. I feel like I've seen that one. I don't know why. Add it to our list of movies, please.
That's why I forgot to do
Okay, so this is considered, this has been, it says, it's been 9 years, 6 months. Hey, Cool Gamer, what's up? So it's been 9 years, 6 months, and whatever days since Sinister has, so Nightcrawler, at the beginning of this is having some more mutations where he grew horns. He was becoming more and more of a beast, right? So he went to the island of Krakoa's, the scientist, like, hey, please help me. I don't want to mutate anymore. I want no more, please. No more. I don't want to. And so what happened, we think, because there's a little thing on the bottom where Sinister is like, oh, note to self, I should definitely make sure I actually took out the original Nightcrawler. Maybe I should check under the, files of used to amuse me, but now bore me. And I'm like, so what Sinister did was he actually took Nightcrawler's DNA and fixed that gene and then started making everybody else. So there's like a Spider-Man Nightcrawler, there's a Beast Nightcrawler, there's a X-23 Nightcrawler, there's a lot of different kinds, and they're all like weird things where it's like a web crawler. Or like
wall crawler.
Wall crawler, thank you. And so in this one, we're seeing that not all of them are possibly completely under the brainwashing of Sinister. And you see Sinister is like, I might be amused by this. Let's do more experiments. Good. So, there's a Domino Nightcrawler. I really like Domino's Nightcrawler. That's super cool because she's got really pretty guns. They're bang bangs. There's also the one called Edward Grounds the Space Cadets. Filling hands in water don't help me.
The water might not help me, but my metal water can might.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a whole backpack full of ouchies, so we good.
I mean, this is sturdy.
Oh. I am in a room with weapons that you would find in a warehouse and box things. But anyways, so it is setting up. They put in the back that they're doing there's 3 books for 10 years. There's a few books for the 100 years, and then another few books for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to see kind of the ripple effect of what all of Sinister's experiments.
Yeah, and this feels like it's probably taking place during the whole Storm thing, because it's Sins of Sinister, then Storm, and then Nightcrawler, and then there's going to be part 4, which comes out, and then yeah. It's gonna be fun to keep up with.
Yeah. And so I'm going to say this, and I'm only going to say this once because I feel like I have to say this once per episode at this point. Stop putting number 1 on everything. This is a number 3 or 4.
Well, no, it's number 1, part 3.
It doesn't say it. Oh, I see that now. But no. Okay, if it's part 3, then say number 3. Stop putting 1s on everything.
No, it's 1C. Because it's part 3.
I will.
Like Sons of Sinister is part 1, and then Storm is 1B, and then that's.
Well, I think
1C.
it's Sinister's part 3, but Nightcrawler's part 1.
Yes.
Yeah. No. What? No. Just stop putting number 1s on everything. Like this is. It's your turn. I need a cookie.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say
Thin Mints
actually
for
this
life.
kind of ties into that to this one
Okay.
because like okay, this was labeled a number 1, the Avengers End Times, but it is actually issues 31 through 34, so it's just the End Times arc.
I get it.
Which seems fun. But yeah, it's definitely I went into it thinking like, oh, I'll be able to easily jump into it, and it's like, oh no. There's already an established story. Which I guess if you just want to read this arc, you can, but I started reading it, and it was like, there's some context I'm missing. I'm not certain.
Ooh, I love my Thin Mints frozen. I normally do too, but today I got them from Gaming and was like, I don't have time to freeze them. That's why I bought 2 boxes, one for eating now, one for putting in the freezer. This is also another thing that Marvel does best is it's not a number 1. This is not a number 1.
Wasn't there a Wolverine one recently?
There was a Spider-Man one before that. So
Okay.
last week was Wolverine. The week before that was Spider-Man. No, wait, we're missing one. Oh my goodness.
Another Marvel IP.
This is actually a number 5. A 4 or 5. I can't figure it out off the top of my head. But so this is Murderworld, Moon Knight. I'm gonna stop saying number 1 on any of these. Anything Marvel, I'm gonna stop saying number 1. So as you guys know, in Murderworld, what's going on is, well, if you do know, you know. If you don't know, I'm gonna help you. So there's this underground thing where you start off, I think they started off with 200 contestants or 100 contestants, I can't remember. We're down to the final 4, which these are the final 4. But only one can survive. Only one can get that $100 million. And so this one, what I've liked is each one of these books has been about a different one of these characters.
Okay, that's cool.
So the first one was about her. This one is about her. She works for Hydra, and Hydra is all like, hey, these people learned how to make doubles out of superheroes and can control them. Go steal that technology and bring it back and make sure there are no survivors. No survivors. And she's just like, hail Hydra, I got this. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It'll be fine.
So yeah, I can't actually read my notes because that actually made me angry the way they did that. Anywho, so yeah, I think this is like number 5 or maybe 4 of the series. I can't exactly remember, but the campiness that they had Moon Knight like saying, one of the lines that he says was in the name of the moon, I will punish you, and I'm pretty sure I laughed out loud.
You did.
I was like, that's a Sailor Moon reference. And then he's like, Moonbeam. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the guys that are in the controls, they're just like, who said it was okay for him to have speaking? And they were like, I think it was that person. And she's got like a Sailor Moon, but not actually Sailor Moon because I don't have the rest of Sailor Moon, shirt on. And she just smiles. And she's like, what? He's funny. And then he starts singing. Starts singing, and then the main dude's like, you know what, I kind of like the singing. I bet you real Moon Knight doesn't have a baritone like him. Ha ha, that's right, our clone is better. It's just like, oh my gosh. And like this whole time, all the other books has been running parallel with Black Widow trying to figure out how to shut this whole thing down. Not this time. They were too focused on making Moon Knight closer to Sailor Moon, and I was here for it. I loved that. But yeah, if you haven't read anything else from Murderworld, you probably won't know what's happening. Because, like, they're carrying one of the characters because of something that happened in the last book. But the thing that happened in the last book is referenced to in the first book. So it's just, yeah, if you're going to pick up Murderworld, you're going to need to pick them all up to kind of understand what's going on in these other books. But if you just want to focus on the main character that they have as the double or the clone, then yeah, you could definitely pick them up singular.
Okay. I guess you could probably do that with Sins of Sinister as well. It's like, oh, well, I only care about Storm. I'm just going to follow her storyline.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why,
But it's a number 1, so there's no last book. Oh, no stories. No, Marvel, we're going to have words about how you label these books. Words! I say words! Your turn.
Okay. All right. Well, that reminds me that in this book, it's kind of a known fact. Because of this show, I'm now starting to read more Marvel, so I'm behind on everything. I get kind of lost, but some books actually have like a, hey, here's a note. Bless you. Go read this one before you read this, or this will provide context. But this is a Marvel Voices Wakanda Forever. And this actually has, hold on.
Several stories.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 stories. And each of them has like a on Hellowship. Each of them has like a message and like a lesson to be learned.
Oh, okay, yeah. Most of the voices are like that. They're
yeah. Which some of them, like, I can definitely simplify and be like, oh, it's fight smarter, not harder. Like, it's not all about brute strength, or your names are important, memories are important, that cherish where you come from, all that stuff. Like, I can simplify it to be that, but reading the stories definitely makes it feel a little bit more like, huh. Yeah, like not in a scary way, but in a oh, my heart.
Nice.
One of them I actually got a little teary-eyed.
Edward, you and I are about to have words. This is not the right show for that.
But there is, in the first issue, there's even a little note. Okay, I cannot pronounce his name. It's
T'Challa?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
T'Challa.
Something. I'm sorry. I honestly do not know how to pronounce names. But
T'Challa.
T'Challa, thank you.
Thank you. But T'Challa is he's trying to get advice and like figure out what to do about a betrayal that had happened to him. And then there's a little note from the author like, hey, for context of this betrayal, read this issue.
Oh,
it's like, okay. Thank you. Now I will actually go back, because it's like, what kind of betrayal that he has to like
was it
call
an
on
epic betrayal?
Call on Bast to be like, hey, can we talk to like all these other people and figure out like what do I need to do?
Okay.
And it's like, oh, you need to battle within yourself. Oh, okay. Got it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, but now it's like, oh, I should probably actually go back and read the issues that are noted.
Okay. Let's talk about this book. I was kind of upset with this book, but not in the way that everybody's probably going to think of it. Holding Flashlight in Face of the Woods. I'm so scared right now. Oh my goodness. Memories. Tissue, please. Yeah, there was a lot of dust today. So this is Icon versus Hardware, number 1. Okay.
The Icon stinks? I was making a wrestling joke.
Oh, okay. So this is number 1 of 3-part storyline. This is actually a true number 1. Thank you, DC. But there's a full page and a half of like setup to this book about, hey, this is what happened when Icon and Hardware teamed up in this last series. And I'm like, oh, that's a whole page. This is Minute to Skim It. I'm sorry, Paige. I'm going to have to come back to you. So, he's accidentally stumbled upon a time machine that he thought was a spaceship.
Accidentally.
Oh, yeah. He thought it was a spaceship, and he stole it from the government. He was like, oh, look at this black and white picture. That's a spaceship. I need to get that. And so he goes and gets it. Come to find out, it's actually a time machine. And what happens when you mess with time?
Only fun.
Paradox.
Nothing
Paradox
bad
is everywhere.
Nothing bad ever happens.
And so he's trying to figure out, the one thing that has bothered him his whole life is he's never figured out why his dad left him. So what'd he do? He goes back in time to see the argument that happened, and the excuse that this man uses for cheating on his wife. There's no excuse for cheating. First and foremost.
I'm just excited to hear what the excuse is.
The excuse was, you were so busy
Reasonable.
His excuse,
Joking.
his wife was like, "Why would you do this to our family? Why would you cheat on me and have another son?" And he was like, "You weren't around because you were at work and taking care of the house and the kiddos, so we never had time."
You weren't around. You were busy taking care of the kids, so I went off and made another one.
That was.
It's fine.
So adult him follows his dad to the bar, and the guy's like, "Yup, I'm ready to be out of this family. I got another family I can go live with." And he's like, "If you leave your son, aka me, it's gonna tear your son apart." And the dad's just like, "Why do you look so familiar? I think I'll listen to your words." And he's like, "Stop cheating! Stop!" And then he goes back to his time, and now there's two of him, and he's like, "Oh, a paradox. Well, let's team up to take down our main bad guy." You're just like,
Our dad.
oh my god, like, guys, there's just, I can't, like, oh. So that's that book.
Oh, no, not no. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day, everybody. Yeah, hearts.
Love all around.
But no excuse.
It's fine.
You weren't around.
Yeah.
I think so. It's like literally like a whole page. They're having this conversation, and little kid him is like covering his ears, and he's outside.
I'm just thinking, you weren't around as I was at the bar.
Oh my god. But like she was like, "Why would you do this?" And he was like, "Well, you weren't around. You were busy taking care of our son." And she was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm taking care of our son." And he's like, "Yeah, like you weren't around for me though." Oh, so yeah, there's a whole butterfly effect with paradoxes going on now, and I think that's how we're gonna get the two of them fighting. Yeah, there's that book. Your turn. Got me heated.
Well, that book has my heart is broken. That didn't work grammatically, I'm sorry. But Evanescence, my heart is broken. Yes, that Evanescence, the band, that is the one that you were thinking of. That this, it's two stories based on her music. I didn't see the music video played out, so to me,
I did. Oh, in the book. Okay.
that's like,
Oh, okay. My bad.
because the first story it's in 1800s Vienna. And I'm like,
What?
I don't remember this message in Evanescence, but all right, we're gonna.
Is that supposed to be the one with the wolf with the long table with all the foods? She had the big poofy dress on in that one, right?
I don't know. Been a long time.
There's
no wolf, though.
When you're sober.
No, these are deals with kids, man.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Bring Me to Life. That
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, not really referenced, I guess. But well, I guess maybe it is. I guess technically in a way. But it's the first story is this dad. He's got 3 kids. One was just born, and it's implied that the mother died giving birth to the daughter.
Did she cheat?
Did she? And giving birth?
Oh, okay.
No. I don't know. That wasn't implied. But the dad, he like straight up does not care that his wife is probably like just went through childbirth and is possibly dying. He just takes the baby, his new daughter, and is like, "We need to find out which instrument's going to be yours." Brings her. Oh, you've got long fingers. Let's bring you to the piano. Oh yes, you're already
a newborn. Just
yep. Like all right, you've chosen you've chosen your instrument, your destiny. It's sealed. You play the piano. That's your life now. But yeah, and like one of the kids is definitely not happy as like it goes through them getting older, and one of the kids is definitely not happy. He's like, "Dude, our dad," like he's talking to his little sister, like, "Dude, our dad only cares about us being wunderkinds. Like he doesn't care about anything else." And she's like, oh yeah, but I love music, so who cares?
Oh my god.
But and then she ends up falling in love with someone else when she's older, and they kind of sneak out, go to see Beethoven, and
Yeah, because that's what was hopping back in the day, right?
It
Like,
was.
oh my god, we're gonna sneak out to see Beethoven.
yeah, yeah,
Scandalous.
it was.
Oh.
At least probably according to the dad, because I mean, if she's like distracted by love, then she's probably not gonna want to.
Make music.
Yeah, or at least not go on the tours like he has her doing. And on their like when they leave, she's just like, oh, we're never gonna part and whatnot. And then the dad
And
he
then they part.
he secretly picks up her boyfriend, and is like, so you're never gonna part ways with my daughter, are you?
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna make sure of it. You'll be bound by her or to her forever. By strapping him to her piano and doing some sort of weird sacrifice, and it's like, your spirit's bound to here. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing. It's and then it she eventually passes away, all this other stuff, and it's like
He's still stuck there.
yeah, and music will set you free and whatnot, and years go by. It was a twist that I wasn't really expecting, but
Just a little bit of sacrifice.
Yeah. And then the second story, it's just the second story more resembles the cover art.
Wait, that was just the first story?
Yes. The second story is very short, more resembles the cover art, and it's essentially the same thing, but not the same thing. The same thing in the sense of like music will keep you together and keep you with your love. But yeah, well, I mean, it kind of did.
When she died, did he go with her?
Well, no, but she's a spirit now.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, there's actually a little bit more to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah. So, love and music. That was the Evanescence thing that was inspired by her music. Which, admittedly, I can only remember 2 songs because it's been a long time. It's been a very long time.
Then there's Wake Me Up, Bring Me Back to Life, and
then
Call
we
Me
go.
When You're Sober.
I only know
Let
the
Me
first
Go. Oh my God, what else is
2.
there?
There's a lot.
Lithium.
The
Anywho,
Nirvana song?
let's talk about Torrent. This is a number 1. So here we are. That is, oh goodness, her name I think is Michelle. Yep, Michelle, aka Cracker Jack. You heard me. Her superhero name is Cracker Jack.
Huh.
And so she's out fighting crime, and she's taking down an old school high-speed car heist going on. And she's just like, oh, there you go. And then her sidekick, but not sidekick, she calls him more like a stalker, but very mild annoying because like he's a big fan of her, comes to help her. And he's a speedster, and she's just really strong, just like to beat up people and stuff, right? Well, that's happening, and it's just, it's going pretty easy. She's like, oh yeah, the car heist is so easy. It's a classic. And then another dude shows up and like goes to shoot his like ray gun, like his laser, like, and it gets her speedster sidekick, not sidekick, like shot. And he's like, oh, my leg. Well, can't use my leg no more. She's like, well, come back to my Fortress of Solitude. There was a lot of like really cool like throws into like classic superhero stuff. And we get there, and she's got all this technology that her husband actually invented for her. And so her husband is very on board with helping his wife as a superhero. And I was like, that's super cool. And her son knows nothing, which is good because he's little. And she uses this like spray on his leg, and she's like, okay, that's an enhanced healer. That just means you need to stay off your leg for 48 hours. So help me goodness. Stay off your leg. And he's like, oh, I feel so much. And she's like, don't finish that sentence. I was like, oh. And even funnier is the very first line of the comic is like, I'm supposed to be at a PTA meeting. People are supposed to be eating up my blueberry muffins that I buy at the store and then put in my own Tupperware, and people love it, ask for the recipe. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And then it flashes over to the heist being like her taking that down. It's like they're all happy Donkey Dory. Oh goodness. So after they're doing that, he's like, oh, my leg feels so much better. I don't need to wait 48 hours. So what is he doing? running about in his speedster costume, ready to take down the bad guys. Well, a really big bad guy from her past is there doing something. We don't know what he was doing, but he was there with his guns. And he's like, oh, Christmas came early. And he goes to do like a really quick, like, chirp, and it just like busts out the bone in his leg. I was like, that's bone. That's bone coming out that leg. Right there, that's bone. And the big bad guy picks him up like he was nothing. One hand held both his legs. There's a whole lot of dude. It was like, you're right, Christmas did come early. And then the next thing we see is he's getting tortured, like terribly, like his whole body is just like swollen and bloody, and just like he's being there tortured the entire night. And then the main head boss of all these baddies comes in, and he's like, this was just a taste, just a little sampling of what I'm about to do to you for the rest of the day until you give me her name. And I have to say, like, her sidekick, not sidekick, is like a teenager. He's like 18, maybe at max. So we all know he's...
Dude, I'll be honest. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, you didn't have to torture me. I would have just given you a name.
But he wouldn't. He wouldn't give a name.
Oh,
he gave his own name, but he didn't give her name. And like, well, that's the only name we care about. And just as they're coming towards him with some pliers, he's like, name, which is never good to go after a PTA mom / superheroes family. And it's set up to go big. I'm super excited. That's bone. And the lettering is something called Cillian Rail. For. Did I miss something? I am so sorry.
I think I missed something as well.
Oh, okay. Well, we will sit here and miss something. Definitely check that out. It's from Image. It's a new #1. And as you can see, so this was her sidekick right here. And this is her. This was a true #1. So that was lovely. Lovely. Your turn.
Okay. Okay. And with Masters of the Universe, the Masterverse. And it is, as you might be assuming, it is like multiple He-Men. Just all the He-Mans. And whatever their names might be. But this was actually pretty fun. My only experience with He-Man is like catching the occasional cartoon when I was the occasional episode when I was younger, and that one jokey video where it's like, yeah, I tried so hard in this institution.
Yes,
but this was fun, and it
that's bone. That's bone. Yes. Okay, I see now. Hey.
The first part of the story, it's describing like how Prince Adam came to be and how he became He-Man, and that like this sorceress, she's like looking into the multiverse of like, hey, I need to see like how all these other people became He-Man and how they all like proved themselves. Okay. So then I can also decide if this guy's actually worthy, because he's still a teenager. Like,
guys, let teenagers be teenagers. Stop making them save the world and be heroes,
well, then,
please.
Then tell them to stop picking up swords and being brave. All right.
Okay, done. Stop it. Go be teenagers. Stop trying to give up stuff to be grown-ups. Grown-ups, stop it.
But yeah, and it's also drawn a lot like the show. It's very close to that.
That's fun. It says business card coloring.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry that took me so long.
But and then like at some point, stuff is happening, and he's like about to use some power, and he's like, no, I need to not, because this is gonna cause something bad to happen. But instead of saying like, and then he saves what's his name? Cute little wizard dude, Orko.
Sure, let's go with that. I like that.
I wrote horribly, so. But yeah, he's like trying to save him, so he and he sees like a little a demon dude, and he's like, by the horror of Grayskull, not the power, the horror. So he saves Orko, but then he's fed Castle Grayskull a soul. So it's like, oh no.
Oh, nummy soul.
But then
thank you for the soul.
And then it changes to, I guess, a different universe of He-Man. It's drawn more classic comic style, and the tone is not serious at all. It's very fun. Just a He-Man buff dude. They were like, "Hey, you're chosen. You gotta defeat." Oh my gosh, Skeletor. That's his name, yeah.
Skeletor.
Yeah. My brain just stopped. There's lots of skulls and skellies.
Yes.
Just a lot.
Okay.
Oh, that would have been funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
no,
lot.
I don't have Bateman on here though. But yeah, and then this goddess is like, oh well, here's all this technology, and Skeletor's just like, nah, destroying that, and he was just like, oh, I don't know. I mean, like this doesn't give me power. I don't want any of this anyway. And then she shows a PlayStation or a play box. No, it's called a play box because it mixes the two.
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Ooh, a play box.
Yeah, so it's just a gaming system.
Who could freaking Skeletor?
Me.
We have our moments. Today's been kind of a long day.
Look at all the stuff we read.
We read a lot of books. Not to mention, like, you can't see, but there's a whole nother shelf up of books.
But yeah, so like in this little story, like He-Man and Skeletor, like they bond over a gaming system, and Munchies. So it's just a box of chips.
Oh my god.
That the goddess was like, oh well, here's this thing, and they're like,
well, I guess that's one way to make peace.
And He-Man is like, I have the power. and Skeletor's like, hey, I think there's like a big screen in Castle Grayskull. Like we can go. You've got a solid game here, so like let's go. Let's go hang out.
Oh my god.
And then it goes back to the seriousness of the original comic. It's pretty fun, actually.
I guess that's one way to make peace, though.
Yeah.
Bring the play box.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun. I liked it.
I want to talk about this. This is a Foulness in the Walls from Aftershock. It is a one-shot, and it's one of those, what do they call them? Premiere books, I think. So it's a big boy, and it feels nice. Okay. So I think you got to flip through it, too.
Yeah. I read it.
So George here, his mother had the sickness and has passed away now and left him with absolutely nothing. So he's going and he buys this house, the one in his sunglasses. These are these right? Yeah, that would be cool. Nice. He goes and he buys that house because he's trying to start like in a new town because he's trying to start over fresh. And he spends his first night there and he's like, oh, there's this really bad smell. I'll figure it out later. So then he goes down to the local supermarket, little grocery store, little Piggly Wiggly, and he's like, "Hey, can I leave an application here?" And they're like, "Oh, you're a little older than what we normally hire." And he's like, "I'm trying to start over." And they're like, "Starting over is hard." And he's like, "Yup."
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, bye. And they're like, "Oh, we'll think about it." And then, he goes home and he's like, "Gosh, what is that smell? It smells so bad. I can't figure it out." He goes to sleep. He kicks his fan. Because he's like, stop blowing the smell at me. It's so bad. The next day, he gets a phone call. And they're like, hey, we had a bunch of people quit. Do you want to work? Can you start today? He's like, I'm on my way. And he gets there. And he meets, what was her name? Cheryl. He meets Cheryl, who's kind of like teaching him the ropes and stuff of it. And, they start having friendship, relationship type, like googly eyes.
They're vibing, as the kids say.
Hey, there we go. They've got that. They've got the zing, as kids said.
The zing.
The zing.
The zing.
Hey. So yeah, and oh my gosh, what's that? So then, so he is literally spending now all day, every minute of every day that he can, either at work or with Cheryl, just trying to like not be at home. Because every time he's at home, the smell gets worse. Well, it finally comes to a breaking point. He's like, what is that smell? And he walks to this random wall and just like, I've got to get rid of it. And he grabs a hammer and he just starts hammering this wall like hole. And then it starts talking to him. And I'm like, bro, is the smell talking to you or the like hole in the wall talking to you? Because like that is,
which we don't really see what the wall is saying. It's very much implied because he's replying to it.
Yeah, all you hear is his replies. You don't hear what he's actually like hearing. You just hear his replies. then it finally comes down to like he's buying all these groceries and stuff and feeding the wall the groceries and stuff. And we all know what happens, Little Shop of Horror style. They need more. Feed me, Seymour, feed me. So yeah, it just keeps escalating, and you seriously, because it's Cullen Bunn. It's Cullen Bunn, who's an amazing like psychological horror and thriller writer. Just all of this stuff has been so good. So getting to read this was so outstanding. It's so good. It's very twisty. It's very turny, and this is the entire thing. It's all wrapped up in one book because it's a one shot.
Yeah, and the art's excellent, and
Oh.
it's definitely like underlying themes of like guilt and sadness and just all the big bad terrible.
All the big bad terribles.
Okay. For a second, I completely forgot how to read. I got it though.
That happens all the time.
I got it. Okay. This is called Rejected Fallen. It is a one shot. And I wanted to read this one because the art is very cool.
Yes.
And the art on the cover is exactly as it is
it
in
almost
the
looks like
book.
a playing card.
It does.
That's cool.
But yeah, the art of the man kind of gave me like Junji Ito vibes. So
I got to show you the first series of that then.
but yeah, I really like this. It's a weird book. It seems to be about like spirits or angels, and they kind of volunteer to do what they do, whether it be like dealing with the darkness and the desperate and despair, or with light and goodness, basically shadow and light. And like, or you could also maybe pick someone to get attached to, which it was coming off as like a guardian angel vibe, but then it turned out that this particular spirit that we're following gave up his spiritness for mortality. At least that's what I kind of gathered. Yeah, but then he gets rejected by, like, he has the love and all this, and then at some point the relationship falls apart. They break up.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then like the dark spirit that's kind of seems like the leader, one that's just been around the longest.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, now you're rejected. So why don't you come join me? We do rejected stuff. And he's like, nah, I've been way better than you.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
have to deal with this. If I wanted to, I could start my own army
Oh.
of like, and I could build people up and get them to follow me, as opposed to what you do is bring them down.
Sounds very cultish.
Yeah,
Especially now that he's mortal.
Yeah, but then the way that it gets drawn out, I can't really tell if he's becoming a spirit again or if it's like just the picturing of what he used to look like.
Oh.
It's kind of, to me, it's a kind of surreal, weird type thing. It's one of those ones that I feel like if I read it again, I'd be like, oh, this makes more sense.
I don't know why the storyline kind of reminds me of the Nick Cage movie,
Face Off?
City of Angels. A little bit of Face Off. But is it called City of Angels?
That was one of two movies that I wasn't allowed to see as a child, so I still haven't seen it.
So he starts off as an angel, and he's in love with this chick.
I know what it's about.
And, well, for anybody who doesn't know, starts off, Nicolas Cage is an angel. And, they're just watching humanity. And he's like, I love this mortal, even though she knows nothing about me.
Yeah.
And then he becomes human, and then she dies. And then he's like, okay, what do I do now? And I'm like, you could start a cult, like this guy.
Without the death.
Yeah.
But then it seems like the darkness is kind of like, hey, man, you got some cool ideas.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I think it's good that it's a one-shot, because I feel like if it kept going, it might get a little too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I liked it.
we're going to end today with my pick of the week, my favorite book. I think we both read this, actually.
Also
So,
fun.
this is from Scout Comics. It is Snow White Zombie Apocalypse. All right. This was so good. I actually wrote a whole paragraph. First things first. Red Riding Hood got. She got
Immediately.
nom 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 by the wolf. So she was like la 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 la. Oh snap! Ugh. Okay, where was I? La 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 la. And the wolf is all like nom nom nom. And then she's like ah. And then the wolf goes, and then she goes after Prince Charming, and he's like, "No, please, here's my sword, no, don't get me." And she's just like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." And then so somebody else appears in the woods and is going after the wolf, and he's all like, "Rah, rah, rah," and she's like, "Ha, you wish." Stab. And just as she's about to cut off his head, oh, that's not the only head. That was not the only head. What happens? Somebody reaches out of his stomach and grabs her arm. And what is it? Grandma. His grandma. So now there's this giant like beastie that's like the werewolf who's like half zombie, or he's zombie, but he's like already half dead zombie. So he's just kind of like flopping around. But then there's grandma who's using his legs as like her legs, and there's half her body coming out of his stomach, and she's like rah, 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 rah. And they, they're fighting, and at the same time, Prince Charming and Red Riding Hood are still fighting, and just it was so good. It was so good. It's my pick of the week. I'm already needing. In fact, I might add it to my pull box right now. Hold on. Okay, your turn. Tell us about the book. Book?
I think that's. Oh, just okay. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. Everything that she said. But yeah, I mean, typically with the Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma isn't already dead, but I get the sense that Grandma was already dead.
Oh yeah, like we don't know.
She'd already been eaten. Little Red Riding Hood was just going into a trap. I did really like the end.
Oh my god!
I don't really want to spoil it because it's just. But it's fun. I think it's gonna be funny, and it's gonna be a gory, bloody time. Hopefully with each one.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I wonder if they're gonna have like they're gonna have like other, because they already did Red Riding Hood. They've already done like they started Snow White. Prince Charming is there. And by the way, I actually had to go back and reread it because I thought Prince Charming had been bit. And now I'm still not sure. I can't tell. Because at one point, Red Riding Hood just like headbutts him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there was so much blood. I was like, did she bite him?
No. She got shot.
That was right before she got shot.
No, that was her head exploding.
But that was the next panel. The panel before, though. I'm like, did she?
No, she was going down and then her
Is
head
this Zenoscope?
exploded.
It is not Zenoscope. This is Scout. This is Scout.
It felt like a Zenoscope book, though, and then it was like...
Although the art was a little bit better than what we were getting from the last few Zenoscopes. This was so good.
Well, I'm saying like the type of book.
Oh, yeah.
White zombie apocalypse to me just felt like, yeah.
It was so good.
That's
really my pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to who else they could involve in this. Like, is it going to be like the Fables where it's like all of them are together, like it's the same universe?
Are we gonna have another like Cinderella that goes around killing people? So Source Point, I think it was Source Point or Scout did another one where it was set in ancient times, and this felt a little more like not modern, but kind of like there was a gun, but it was like an 18th century gun.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the way that they're talking isn't so like
so ancient.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like modern. Except for that last line of the book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like which I loved it.
So when you guys pick up this book and you read it, I'm going to make a shirt that has that last line. It's like, seriously, dude? Just oh my gosh. It says Snow White, so Snow White's in there somewhere. It was so good.
It was really fun.
It was so much fun. Like, I could probably keep acting it out. The experience, a good shirt design could be an image of all the heroes / final girls together in horror movies. Nancy Thompson. Oh, yeah. From Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Tommy Jarvis. Yes. Yes, that'd be a cool shirt. Somebody call Kyle. Kyle!
I'll have to ask my mom where she got this shirt. Maybe they have a final girl one.
That is a dope shirt. Yeah, so if you ever, like, in about a week or two, if you guys ask me to come back to this and want me to, like, act out the whole thing like I did the first half of it right there, I'm down for that. It was that good. I super enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really fun. I am actually legitimately excited for the second one. And
I've already added it to my poll just then and there. So we do have to say a couple of things real quick. Guys, make sure that you are over on our YouTube channel where you have hit the subscribe button, because once we get to 1,500 subscribers, we are giving away 15 $100 CGC books across the board. They are just prizes for us to hit the 1,500 subscribers. So all you have to do is head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. make sure you hit the bell so you know when we're live, get your notifications. Hey. But yeah, and then all you have to do is watch all of your favorite shows and winning of the bookish. I don't have one, but pretend this is a $100 CGC book. These are the things that we're giving away.
And I mean, I know at least sometimes our shows and other shows, they'll have random prizes if you're just watching and chatting along.
Definitely. And then also, if you are subscribed to our channel on YouTube, we do have the really awesome tiers where you get access to shows early too, like some of our other shows. So, like Space Cadets, our other show, you get early access to that. And then I think Mission and Kyle and a couple of the other folks, they have members only, hangouts and stuff. So there's all kinds of goodies. So please make sure you hit those like buttons and those share buttons, which I don't know where they are because they're different. They're different on each one.
Click
I know
here,
on Twitch,
there.
because I think Twitch is like right here, and I think YouTube it's like, is it down here or is it down here? I can't remember. And then on Facebook, it's like if you're looking at the computer, it's over here. If you're looking on your phone, it's down there. So definitely hit that share button, hit the like buttons, and hit the bell over on YouTube. Yeah, I can't think of anything else now. I'm so excited. I want to read this book again. It was so good. It's my pick of the week. Definitely my pick of the week.
My pick would honestly be Betty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betty sounded good.
Josie and the Pussycats. They make a little appearance. But yeah, I love the horror tropes and stuff. It's just fun. It's just.
So is it kind of like the Josie and the Pussycats movie where they make fun of all of the like teenage tropes?
Well, I mean, Josie and Pussycats, it's only one part of the story.
Oh, okay.
It's like one of the little stories that Betty is watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
that's awesome.
Oh, and like at least 2 of the stories are Valentine's Day themed.
Perfect for Valentine's Day today.
Yeah, like one of them is like there's a serial killer on the loose, and whoever is next gets a Valentine's Day card with the way that they died on it. Ooh. Well, like a picture of them.
That reminds me of the movie Valentine's Day that had David. He played Angel. Yes. Everybody always forgets about that one. I love that movie. Oh. It's got Denise Richards in it.
Yes.
It's got David's in it. It's got I'm blanking out the names of the actors.
And the weird Cupid face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everybody wore that for school and everybody thinks David's the killer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it though. It was called Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yes.
It was so cheesy and good. Like fun. The way Denise died, just.
I'm going to have to rewatch that now.
Oh, maybe that's what we should do today. I would go home, have dinner with my husband, and watch Valentine's Day. But then there was another Valentine's Day one that has Jensen Ackles from Supernatural's in it. That one was also called. Was that also called Valentine's Day?
A horror movie?
Yeah, he's a serial killer. He comes back to his hometown. My Bloody Valentine. Thank you, Jay. So yeah, it's got younger Jensen Ackles in it, because it was out many years ago. 3D. That's right. It came out in 3D.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
I only saw it in 2D. I can't really see 3D. But yeah. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're doing, except for the murder. Let's not do that today, please. If you want that, please go watch the things.
That no one is doing the murder today.
Well, I mean, we read a lot of books about the murders. So
yeah, like if you want to watch a slasher flick with your loved ones, or
I don't know why everybody's like, oh, I want to watch horror movies during Halloween. Like I watch it for Valentine's Day, 4th of July. Is there a 4th of July horror movie?
Oh, certainly.
There has to be.
I watch horror movies on any day ending with Y. I only watch them 2 times a year. On my birthday and when it's not my birthday.
Uncle Sam? Is that a horror movie? Like,
that's possible.
I need to find that now. All right, guys. I'm going to go find that movie. Thank you all and have a good night. Bye.